County, Texas, Sheriff Thaddeus Cleveland joins us now. Sheriff, great to have you this morning. So my first question is, what's the point of Biden's executive order if agents are being told to release most of these migrants?
Hi, Ashley. Thanks for having me back. And again, a serious lack of transparency. They knew this going into this latest executive order or this latest executive action that this was going to be a problem. And the reason a big part of this is a problem is because when this administration took over, they also slashed funding that would actually hold open other facilities where we could detain people longer, at the local and state levels. So since we don't have those capacities to hold people, they're just being released.
It's just crazy. Yeah. So what do we do with these migrants from countries that won't take them back? And that's, a substantial list. What do we do with them?
We should be holding them. We should be putting them, in immigration camps, meaning our detention facilities, and holding on to them until our government can work something out. Even if that means, another 5 months till we get a new president that comes in, and a president that's willing to negotiate with other countries and really utilize a little force if necessary to make these countries take their people back. We can't just release them into the United States. Not only do we not know who they are, we can't return them. There's going to be bad actors in there. And I'm not talking necessarily about just terrorists. I'm just talking about criminals. We're being flooded with more criminals. Yeah. Not that every one of them are, but certainly many are.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, isn't it? Odds are, given how many are coming across the border, that that's going to happen. And what happens to these people who say, OK, listen, we're going to let you go into the country and you're going to have to report when your court case comes up in about 5 years? What's the likelihood of OK, some may do it, but I would argue that a large percentage are just going to vanish into the shadows.
You're exactly right, Ashley. In my 26 years as a Border Patrol agent, and we would issue a notice to appear, that states show up at this place on this date, the vast majority never do. They realize they don't have to. And it's almost just like this new executive action. We're going to shut the border down at 2,500 people. First of all, you can't just turn on and turn off the border. We have to have a full force to secure our borders. But now we haven't been under a day of 2,500 since this executive action, 2,500 entries. These people are calling this president on his bluff.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we had a report earlier of one migrant just saying, we love Joe Biden. I'm not surprised. And you mentioned the criminal threat that comes with this. But what about the cartels? They must be making out with all the people they're moving across the border, and especially with terrible, dangerous drugs like fentanyl.
They certainly are. And that's why they've gotten so much more involved in smuggling of humans, because, again, a dangerous drug is used once and it's gone. A human can be smuggled again and again and again if they're apprehended and sent back or returned to their country. They're going to try again. So, that's just more money into their pockets.
And, I know this is your opinion, but how would you describe the morale? Because if I'm a border agent down there trying to do my job, I would find it incredibly discouraging.
And it has been. And here recently, the directors of ICE and Commissioner CBP have sent out letters to their personnel, to the workforce, telling them that, hey, we're going to get back to patrolling the borders or securing the borders. Troy Miller is someone who I know and worked with in D.C. when I was stationed up there at Border Patrol headquarters. And, he's doing a good job holding CBP together, but I'm certain that those aren't his own words. A lot of times those are words that come down from the administration and from DHS Secretary Mayorkas. So they're just trying to hold the workforce together the best they can. And that's why I tell America every time, support our Border Patrol, support CBP, support ICE. They need it.
Yeah. They're trying to do a job with their hands tied behind their back. Sheriff Thaddeus Cleveland, Sheriff, thank you as always for joining us, and thank you for your work. It's always appreciated.